Well, another week has gone by and another bizarre situation has happened with the 95-year-old beloved Stan Lee. If you've been following the Stan Lee saga, and I should probably start a playlist specifically for everything going on with him. Back in February, he fired his bodyguard and nurse. There was a situation where somebody was selling his blood, using his blood to sign comic books. They set up a fake blood draw and they were selling that. There was allegations in the Hollywood Reporter about elder abuse. Allegations that to me seem very specific. I guess it's not really any of my business, but they seem to be true in my opinion. And it is my opinion that he's come out and so vehemently denied them to protect the reputation of his daughter, which who can blame a dad for doing that? Then we saw him come out, get involved with the Elon Musk, where Elon Musk posed the question, who do you think owns the media? And every blue check mark journalist in the world thought he was going to name the Jew, when he, of course, did not mean that. He simply meant that rich and powerful people run the news. He was responding to somebody who was complaining about him being a rich, powerful man, screwing with the news. He was saying, of course, who do you think owns the news? Then Stan Lee chimed in with his distrust of mainstream media, specifically the Hollywood Reporter, the website that had published that article about his elder abuse and other information about his family, which is unfortunate that it's out there. It just makes me kind of feel bad for the guy. Seems like such a pure, wholesome guy. Maybe I'm wrong, but then late last night, 2 armed men showed up at his house. And the way it all shook out was basically there are 2 guys standing outside of his house, allegedly demanding money. They were shouting, "Give me my money." There was a confrontation with Stan in front of his house, but Stan said that he didn't know either of them. The one guy kept saying, "I want my money," but when everyone realized that these men had guns or weapons, they retreated inside, called 911. Probably the smart thing. I don't know if I'm 95 years old, if I'm answering the door for somebody I don't know. That's where this gets kind of weird. Stan's lawyer, business partner, and nurse were with him at the time. They all went inside. At some point, the men took out their weapons and were pointing them around. About 20 police officers showed up to his home, 7:30, 8 o'clock, very quickly. And a witness basically said it was crazy. Cops had their guns drawn. There were spotlights from 2 police helicopters, very scary, pretty intense. The cops said, "Put your hands up." The guys got on their knees and on the floor. They were handcuffed, put in the car. They had already tossed their weapons in hopes that the cops wouldn't find them. Of course, the cops did find them. It's not clear at this point if any arrests have been made, but this whole thing is weird to me. This is on the heels of Stan Lee filing a $1 billion lawsuit against his former company, POW Entertainment. It's also on the heels of him getting his voice out to the people, taking back control. He actually published this video, letting everyone know that he's just given up on Facebook, given up on Instagram. He's only going to use Twitter to communicate.
Hi, heroes. This is Stan, and I'm really just making this little Twitter piece because I want you to know how much I appreciate all the messages you've been sending. That's the reason I have to wear eyeglasses now. I'm going blind reading them all, but it's well worth it. You are the greatest fans in the world, and I want you to remember all my messages are only on Twitter, not on the other groups, because I can only do so much. So I've chosen Twitter, and I look forward to seeing you on Twitter as often as possible.
He keeps saying that his Facebook and Instagram were, quote, hacked. My guess is they're under the control of some media company that he signed a contract with or something that he can't get out of. Certainly, if you're Stan Lee, Instagram fixes your Instagram account or Facebook fixes your Facebook account. I'm sure of it. I mean, Jack from Twitter retweeted Stan Lee. So the idea that Stan can't get access, maybe he's just trying to do it on his own. The guy's almost 100 years old. He even has jokingly said on Twitter, I'm 95 years old, and on Twitter, am I the oldest guy on Twitter? I don't think he probably is, but, you know, good for him. Gosh, one can only hope. Now, I don't know. You might say, okay, is this some kind of random act? Seems unlikely based on where Stan Lee lives and based on reports that one of the men had actually been at Stan's or on Stan's property on the previous Wednesday, so the day before. So that guy showed up on Wednesday, I'm assuming asking for some money, then showed up on Thursday with somebody else, and they were both armed. And I don't know, is this an intimidation tactic from POW Media? Is this some crazy... I don't know. It's like, how many weird things can happen to one guy before you start to say, like, okay, maybe there is something going on here. What is it? Is it with his daughter, JC, who appears to be insane, appears to be taking advantage of him at every turn, at least according to that Hollywood Reporter? I don't know. It looks like he's getting back on track after everything going on in May. He seems to be with it. He had pneumonia earlier this year. I don't know. It's very bizarre. He hasn't said anything on Twitter. He hasn't really acknowledged the situation. In my opinion, these are people that knew him, even though he says he didn't know them. Or they were someone sent there to intimidate him. Some people are speculating online that it was some sort of hit or some like mob techniques to intimidate him. I don't know anymore. Based on everything we know with Stan Lee, it seems like there are a lot of people circling and looking for a piece of whatever's left there when he decides that he's done with all of us. Hopefully not for many years yet. He seems to have all his mental capacities there. Sure, his vision's gone, but shoot, he's 95 years old. It's crazy, but a little light story here on Friday, but I wanted to cover it because I've covered a lot of the Stan Lee saga, and I'm just looking forward to him getting back in control of everything. And hey, if you made it all the way this far in the video, you're probably one of my more dedicated viewers. Make sure that you have the bell clicked and then that notifications on for live streams and for whatever. I'm starting to do more live streams. I'd love to see more of you there. Somebody tweeted at me today and said they weren't getting notifications for my videos anymore. Of course, you know the old song and dance. But if anything comes up on Saturday or Sunday, I will cover that as I am going to be around the office. And if not, we'll see you on Monday with, I'm sure, tons of new stuff to report. Thank you all for always making sure to like the videos and commenting and sharing them out. It's really helping the channel grow. And I owe it all to all of you. Thanks a lot, and we'll talk to you again real soon.